It'll go.
Do you press the red button?
Yeah, I did already. It's working already now.
Fine. Okay. Few in Yonim. Anyone? Judah didn't prepare anything. Stam Suda. Anyone has anything particular? Anyone wants me to speak about? If I could speak about it. I mean, it's also connected with Rosh Hashanah, but discussing the past few weeks, of the Bittul HaYetzer Hara, the removal of the Yetzer Hara when Moshiach will come. Now, I'm talking about the removal of the Yetzer Hara when Moshiach will come. Like I mentioned, there's a number of different ways of looking at it. Side is the Indian that then a person will have the koyach to be miskaber over the Yetzer Hara, that the Yetzer Hara won't be such a leiv ha'evan, it won't be a heart of stone, it will be a heart of meat, that meat is bendable. It's also the concept the Eibusher will shech the Yetzer Hara, the Eibusher will take away the Yetzer Hara, will be nishapach l'tov, will be turned over to good. There is also, just to mention, there is also in different svarim, it speaks about that when you say the word Yetzer Hara, what exactly are you referring to? So, there is, the way some svarim explain, is that there's, Yetzer Hara is sometimes understood as a human condition, so to say. The person has natural inclination, certain Yetzer Leiva Adam, a certain way the Eibusher created a person, that he has his instincts. And then there's, from other Mekaydas, is mashma, the Yetzer Hara is more of a spiritual source, like Al Derech HaMalach, or something that has a certain power, even greater than the person himself, that if not for the Eibusher's help, says Amoli Oizrei, Eina Yachale, if not for the Eibusher's help, he won't be able to overcome him. So, I don't want to get into this. I mean, the main Pashtus, we always understand the Yetzer Hara more as a part or offshoot of the Nefesh HaBahamis. It's the Midas of the Nefesh HaBahamis, whatever it is. Frierdiker Rebbe is actually a mimer that describes the of the Yetzer Hara as the Koyach HaTzir. The Yetzer Hara, like somebody puts it as like the pop-ups. There's the Nefesh HaBahamis is the actual. It's a nefesh of a behemoth. He likes to eat, he likes physical pleasure, but he's not going to every second run after a taiva. The Yetzer Hara is more like what he does is he throws into the person siyurim, images of physical pleasures to try to catch his attention, to get him to do something. So in today's internet, you would call it a pop-up. You're not expecting it all of a sudden. That's more the Yetzer Hara. That's why the Yetzer Hara is more harder. It's very different than Nefesh HaBahamis. Nefesh HaBahamis you could deal with to some extent. Yetzer Hara is more, it's like trying to...
Left field.
Yeah, out of left field, exactly. So...
The Alter Rebbe in Perik Chof of Tanya, Chof of all the Tanya, where the Alter Rebbe speaks about the from that the whole Hasabbas of the world is only through Dibur. So the Alter Rebbe says, the Alter Rebbe explains what is... how the from that Dibur is. The Alter Rebbe says over there that the person falls on the Hapzah.
That it falls into his mind.
There is already, because Bekeach, Chachme, and Seichel, and Yidi, he has it.
Right.
It's just dormant, it's there.
Right. And then when you see,
and that's becomes
which Seichel.
A person knows this type. The Alter Rebbe is a limit at Chachme, a Geschmack, eat food. The person knows before he actually had the type to it, it's there. But the only thing, it didn't come out.
Catch his attention. There's a desire, it didn't fall into his heart to actually do it.
So, and where it comes from, the Keyach, the Chachme, and Asoga, and Bina, the idea that a person has inside. He knows of that existence, but it's not there. But when it comes to the mind, there's flashes, then he starts thinking about it, developing it, and then how to actually was
steht das Ruach Atom Abel Minoretz? You spoke maybe a little before, but what says there won't be Tumen, there won't be bad, but Yitzhak is going to be there?
No, see, of course Yitzhak won't be there. Of course Yitzhak won't be there. So now, some Mefarshim explain, there's actually two opposite Pirushim I've seen. When you speak about the Bittul Yetzer Hara, Lasa Lavai, at least maybe I guess in the first period, they say that it's not, it's referring to, some explain that it's referring to this Malach. In other words, there's a certain Deibishir, there's a certain Koyach that the Yetzer Hara, so to say, has, that he's stronger than a person. So that Yetzer Hara, which is more outside of the person, quote unquote, whatever that means, will be taken away. But the natural Yetzer Hara that a person has, that's much more controllable. If a person is given the proper means to know how to deal with it, then that will remain when Moshiach will come. And therefore there will be an avoida still. And it also, depending on which skufa we're talking about, obviously, but at least in the first skufa, there will still be an avoida to, it won't be such a struggle, because it won't be something which is outside of you. It's something which is more powerful than you. Then I saw others from say, Punkvag, that it's Yetzer Hara that will be outside the Romain, your Yetzer Hara will be taken away. But B'chol, the reason why I'm bringing this out is, I just think when you speak about it in simple terms, when you talk about today, people speak about the Yetzer Hara, it sometimes sounds like some elusive type of creature that's stopping you from doing Torah mitzvahs. Well, let's say you'll tell a person that when Moshiach will come, there won't be a Yetzer Hara. You have to also bring it down into Pashta terms. So today, when you ask if you won't use the term Yetzer Hara, you'll ask a person, "Vas ma b'diuk?" What exactly are the menias v'yikuvim for keeping Torah mitzvahs that stop a person from doing Torah mitzvahs? So b'darach klal, we always know that Golos is what the goyim didn't let you do Torah mitzvahs. There was the Gezeres Hashmad and the Gemara, the Romans, the Greeks, chulu v'chulu. Right, but today we're living in Arches Haravacha, today we're living in the democracy, so to say. So today, if you person focuses...
It's also not that simple, whatever. It's also not that...
Right, but I'm saying in other words...
The Gashmi is Zicher is easier.
Right, but, no, come on, I'm saying in other words, so person thinks about it, there's the Menis and Nikuvim Torah mitzvahs are on really many different fronts. There are many people that, for whatever reason, at some point in life, they felt that they can't continue, keeping Torah mitzvahs. So there's many issues, but there's a number of issues. First of all, there's different people have different experiences that turn them off for whatever reason. But one of the main akudas here is that Torah mitzvahs doesn't come natural to a person. I have a lot of people, after they're turned off in today's day and age, befrat, they just don't see what is relevant in their life. Why should I put on tefillin? Not sure they don't have something against it, they don't believe in it. I just don't feel it has any shaykhs to me. Why should I wake up today and put on tefillin? Why I should go and then eat breakfast and that I can understand. So it's a certain and then K'muvin there's so here to use the word Yetzer Hara, K'muvin is the Yetzer Hara, but it's also important to use human understanding of there's a number, there's first of all, social pressure is a very big issue, K'muvin. The Rebbe spoke many times about this, that our Nisoyim is not being affected by people that laugh at us. It doesn't have to mean people are outright laughing at you, but, Anleis at Satan of Hashem told him, Maisi was in Kfar Chabad, one Shabbos, and the Futafas called him over, and he was up saying, exactly how he said it, but the point he was saying is sometimes a person, he wants to daven Barichas one Shabbos. Just what? Just the people around him are going to start saying, "Oh, you became a David." So he says, "That's the Algevish name Maligim. What's the Maligim? Maligim is the guy in the street. That's like you don't care what he said. Maligim are your own friends, and say, are you becoming more religious than you were before?" But anyway, the Rebbe spoke a lot of times that today this Pashat, there's the Maligim, there's a social pressure. So
I'm talking to myself. To myself. I'm very. Something that I'm trying hard to live and to understand in a penetrating way to feel it is the importance of Bias Moshiach in the Shleim Satera. why is that what's that the zenith?
It's one of the nekudas that what I'm going to say today is
I don't understand. One second. You're a Talmud Chacham.
You're making fun of the person?
I'm talking to...
They either doesn't learn over here.
One second. The majority of Torah cannot be fulfilled now.
So why is that? Why is it not good? I'm happy Mashiach should come, that Yidden should be able to not suffer, not shleimus hatera, that you be makif kabbanis.
So your shaila, there's two shailas. One shaila is, there's two things you're discussing which are very different. One point is, one thing is, why don't need Mashiach? Why Shlem Torah mitzvah depend on the Mashiach? What's a push to answer why Shlem Torah mitzvah depend on the Mashiach? Shaila is why I should want Mashiach.
That's the importance of it.
So that the Rebbe said, Eino Chanami. There, the Rebbe clearly says that for most Yidden, the Rebbe has this famous Sikh Chelik Lamed Ches and Chelik Lamed Zayin, about Yudim Gashrim. The Rebbe says that for most Yidden today, they're not going to be inspired to want Mashiach only exclusively because of spiritual.
But fine,
Chachamim v'hanavim.
That's an important.
Yeah,
but it's an important.
So the Rebbe says, but for that, Alanius daiti, the answer is it doesn't come overnight. A person should want Mashiach dafki because of the spiritual, dafki because of the ruchnistic and milas.
Need to go there.
Of course, 100%. But that the gashmistic and milas. That, or some people say they don't feel a need for Mashiach in their personal life. They don't have any problems. That's different than Mashiach. No, fine. I'm saying with our such people, we have fine. I'm saying so for that, it's I don't think it's overnight process. You have there's a sefer called Shevet Musar. I don't know if so he writes there. He's quoted. He writes there. I think it's Perek Aleph. He writes that in order to taka desire Mashiach, for the in other words, for the ruchnistic things, you have to sit and learn it. It's not an overnight type of thing. You have to, like the Rebbe says, love him with Mashiach, to learn Yonah Gol Mashiach, to live with Mashiach.
But the Rebbe wants that should be the Nekudah.
Ein hachanami. The Rebbe is not chill. The Rebbe acknowledges very outright that you can't. The Rebbe also has a sicha. One Rambam says, the Rebbe says that all the Yidden and the Vim and the Chacham desired Mashiach, they should be able to fulfill Torah mitzvahs peacefully. And Hilchos Malachim, the Rambam writes, that the wise men and the Nevi'im, the prophets, they didn't want Mashiach, not for physical pleasures, only for they should be able to learn Torah, be pluim with Torah Chachmas, have free time to learn Torah and delve into its wisdom. So the Rebbe says, why here the Rambam says that all Jews wanted it for this reason? He says only the Nevi'im and the Chacham. So the Rebbe says, different sikhs, the Rebbe has different view, but in this sikha, the Rebbe says like this. In Hilchos Shuvah, the Rambam is not speaking about that this is the only reason you should want Mashiach. Rambam doesn't say they didn't want Mashiach only for this reason. Rambam says this is why they want Mashiach. It could mean you want Mashiach for another reason as well. So to want Mashiach for the shleimus of Torah mitzvahs, to be able to learn Torah mitzvahs peacefully, every Jew is ready to do that. But that it should be that that's the only reason why he wants Mashiach. Whereas like in Hilchos Malachim, Rambam writes it in a negative. That they didn't want it for any other reason, only for this, that you have to be a Chacham and a Navi for. But that every Jew Betzim wants Mashiach for Torah mitzvahs, that is not a stira, it's not a contradiction to wanting Mashiach for physical things. You can want it for physical things, you can want it for ruchnistic things as well. Anyway, getting back to the thing at hand. So today, when you talk about the musig, there's a sikh of the Rebbe says that the meaning of mitzvah, which is tzavs of the Hebrew, connected with the inner idea of a mitzvah, connection with Hashem, will be b'shleimus in Yemei Mashiach. So today when we do a mitzvah, sof kol sof, it's not necessarily as real to us as, like Chassidus explains a lot, and what comes to mind right away is the famous Maimon Razal of Yechim and Zakkai said that he says that before he passed away, so Talmidim asked him for a bracha. He says, what my bracha is? Halvai should be afraid of the Eibush like you're afraid of a human being. So Talmidim says, Rebbe, this is your blessing. So he says, it's not a small thing. The Rebbe speaks about. He says, you should know when a person does an Aveda, he says, I don't want anyone to see me. So if you don't want anyone to see you, it doesn't bother the Eibishter will see you. Why? Because the Eibishter's watching you is not real.
There's a story of the Rebbe wilde veel te je hebt het zeg maar gezien zien het is either the magid or migdele but that is I'm sorry Achos was standing next to this door and it was had Shabbos and I said and he said and I said what do you mean the Eibishter hears me I don't care of course the Rebbe care they opened the door says yeah the Eibishter can say was ich der Rebbe is a Basar Dom can say is heel trachten
yeah so and this is the
idea but the Kader say nicht but you don't care because Eibishter can say you know that Eibishter can save you yes I say ja Iran even from Eibishter can save him he's kill Yochel but a human being can save him
But anyway, but you have Chassidus speaks a lot about this in the Kud in various forms, but I'm just bring out in a very simple form that in today's day and age, the simple reality is the world. Eibishter, godliness, we know it's true, we believe it, but it's not as natural to us as physical need. When Moshiach will come, then it will be the other way around. It will be godliness will be straightforward. You'll see, it says when you want to cut a fig tree on Shabbos, the tree is going to scream, the fig is going to scream, at Shabbos today you can't cut me. The Rebbe says the same way even an animal won't want to put its hand into fire because it has a natural instinct of safety, self-preservation. So to a person wouldn't do an Aveda naturally. So there's a certain musig, it's hard for us to understand and relate to, but this says the realization that godliness is the reality of the world. Torah mitzvahs is the ultimate good that there is in the world. And v'chulu, that in today's day and age, we did a lot of disturbances, so to say, from Torah mitzvahs come from the person's own, what you could call Yetzer Hara, but to deal with the problem in more human terms is that they could have questions, they could have emotional struggles, intellectual struggles, or just the etzem nekuda. My life, I don't think is necessarily needs Torah mitzvahs, connected with Torah mitzvahs. It doesn't come naturally to me. So a lot of people in today's day and age, it's something that they. So when Moshiach will come, that is one of the things Moshiach will rectify. There'll be an oifen that it will be decide how it's going to happen. It could be two ways. It could be one on a first on an intellectual basis. In other words, it will be a understanding the reality of Torah mitzvahs, what it really is, how it really connects with Eibishter, how it's real, and then as Chassidus says, we see Geroshan of Yedekol Paul Kapta Pa'alti. Chassidus speaks a lot, lots of loving, it says people will run B'mchilis Tzurin, they're going to run into the clefts of rocks, because of the fear of Hashem. In other words, it will be so real that it's going to be a push of Begashmi, so Emo Pachad. It's like it says, like you're going to actually feel someone is standing and watching you. Like it's so. The Eibush is pushed.
Could it be? I'm just saying, as the eye is going to be so open that a person, the Yetzer Hara tells you, "Okay, eat treif." You see it's treif, you see it's bad, you see it hurts you.
Right.
It's like it's only Yetzer Hara, but the Yetzer Hara won't be able to affect because the eye is going to be so begolly.
Right. So in other words, based on what I'm saying, you could say that. I mean, it also says the Yetzer Hara will be taken away completely. But based on what you're saying, in other words, even if there would be Yetzer Hara, a person a person will realize that it's the same way the natural things that are hazards that a person would never do unless he goes insane because he realizes that it's not good for him. So lots of love. Now there are many things, you have mention of in Kashas of an Eibishter. Yeah, why the Eibishter this, why the Eibishter that, the face. So lots of love. You also want to have the Achmein. I'm just saying from every side and angle, lots of love. It says, Oid Hashem can have to be. So the Mashiach will come, will understand that everything the Eibishter did was really good. In other words, then in every aspect today, people have Tainus of an Eibishter in it. They don't want to put on film of how was the Eibishter getan that I say. When Mashiach will come, we won't have this problem because you'll see openly that was done for good. There's a famous Gemara. The Gemara says that in this world, what does it mean by Yemu Yeh Hashem Echad Shmei Echad? Mashiach will come, Hashem will be one, His name will be one. So the Gemara says, Atu Yidin Alav Shmei Echad, the Eibishter's name not one now. So it's explained that now, when it comes to good things, it's a tova hameter. You thank Hashem. For negative things, you say Baruch Tainamis. Moshiach will come and be echad. It'll be the same way. You'll see the good in the good. You'll see the good in the negative. I mean, that's one of the beauty of what the Gemara means. So this is, again, it's just one inyan. I just wanted to maybe discuss from a human, so to say, perspective. When you speak about bittul hayetzer hara, I mean, if you're going to use, let's say you go to a not from a crowd, and they're going to use this term. So the Yetzer Hara will be taken away versus the Afon Oistach and what it means. I mean, the Yetzer Hara. So again, like I mentioned, yes, there is a Musig. The Yetzer Hara is a powerful thing that's outside of you, that's trying to force you to do evils. But then there's also talking about the human struggle that a person has with Torah mitzvahs. When Moshiach will come, that struggle won't exist b'chlal, because it will be then open with Zan Boifim border how this is Toiv. The Eibusher really loves us.
We'll see how it's going. Today, I want to go somewhere with Tamol, there's no planes, there's no dust. Ich bin in Kaiser of the ganze Welt. Comes a month after that, thank you. Because if I would go there, who knows if I would make it out alive.
Right. I have to run now. Want me to give another share and take over someone else. Okay,